Fentanyl is being mixed inside heroin all across New York City, including this Mount Hope apartment complex where 3 people were arrested for selling 100 grams of that deadly drug. This is a drug that's so strong, so dangerous that it's used to tranquilize elephants. The DEA is saying they have to put a stop to this now before it gets much worse. Special Agent in charge James Hunt is used to taking down major drug traffickers, whether gang members or cartel. We met with him exclusively inside the DEA's Northeast Regional Drug Lab. And it's not uncommon to walk in here and see stuff like this. So what are we looking at here?
Well, these 2 bags, the whitish powder, that's fentanyl.
Okay.
The 2 bags here with tan color is heroin. That's heroin, pretty pure, uncut.
Fentanyl is a painkiller, 30 to 50 times stronger than heroin. Carfentanil, even deadlier.
Carfentanil, which is 100 times more powerful than fentanyl alone. And that is why we're seeing the number of overdose deaths in the United States right now.
The drug is typically cut into heroin, a way for drug dealers to save money.
People mixing it here on a kitchen table in the Bronx are not real chemists. They're not trained like the personnel here to determine what's in it, and a lot of times they're putting too much in and killing the user.
At the drug lab, they're used to testing and analyzing drugs like heroin. But every so often, a new drug is cut into the already deadly opiate, and its effects ripple through communities in New York.
The chemists who are assigned here, they analyze them, determine what's in them, the purity, and it gets really ready for court, for prosecutions. A lot of times the chemists will have to testify to what the drug was that agents or officers seized and its purity.
On this table, about 5,000 heroin glassines, marked with labels like Breaking Bad and Stranger Danger. A few ounces of heroin making this.
You're playing with your life, because this big, you might not die from this big might kill you.
The DEA says its team of chemists help with undercover investigations, letting agents know what's on the streets. We sat down with Hunt, asking what the DEA is doing to keep people from dying.
When there's a break-in investigation or a narcotics investigation, it keeps on going. There's no break to go home and catch some sleep and come back the next day. You go until it's over.
He tells us narcotics officers need to handle these new drugs differently, telling us carfentanil and other drugs cut into heroin change the way they bust traffickers.
With fentanyl and carfentanil, there's a real physical danger with the product itself, and that is that you can get sick by it, you can overdose by not just touching it, you can overdose.
Technology complicates things too.
Bitcoin is become very popular among drug traffickers. There's a lot of secrecy to it, avoid detection. That's what they're always searching for, is to, fool law enforcement. And this is a good way. It's difficult.
As long as there's a market, drug traffickers will continue to put lives at risk, and people will continue to die. One way to combat traffickers, getting people off the drugs. Hunt says now is a better time than ever to seek treatment.
It was bad enough with just heroin, you'd see people overdosing. Now with carfentanil in the mix, it's a game changer. This is as dangerous as it has ever been.
When a marijuana grow house is built in the city, it can become deadly.
These could cause an explosion. They could blow up a building.
Former Drug Enforcement Administration Special Agent in charge James Hunt describing explosions like this one, killing Battalion Chief Michael Fahey in 2016. The blast in the Kingsbridge section of the Bronx also injuring dozens. We met with the former Special Agent at New York DEA headquarters. He tells us the office deals with 2 or 3 cases a year, but when grow houses are in the confines of the city, it's a game changer.
See, a fireman got killed, another one hurt recently. They don't know what they're going into. They're going into a building thinking they're saving someone from a fire. You go inside, you have all these chemicals around, it's highly flammable, so you aren't prepared to go into this.
August 17th, 2018.
Yours was certainly not the only, nor was it the first life that I have been involved in saving throughout my career with the FDNY. However, as it stands today, you were my last, and you are my only regrettable one.
FDNY Lieutenant Richard Rubinacki had a sentencing hearing speaking directly to one of the men responsible for Fahey's death. Fast forward to October of this year in Pelham Bay, another grow house tragedy.
This firefighter had quite a fall, and although he has serious injuries, we're very happy that he survived this fall.
Firefighter Thomas Concorin injured after falling off a ladder, injuring his leg and his back. These houses becoming hazards because of how they're crafted.
They have to cut into alter electrical systems, cut into wires. A lot of times they're not having real electricians do this, they do it themselves.
Hunt tells us they're also pumping carbon dioxide into small apartments while handling fertilizer, which is also flammable. Investigators telling us signs of a grow house include blacked out windows, along with excessive electricity and water usage. With your 12 Investigates report, Eric Stelzer, News 12.